Hello and welcome back. Have you checked under your bed recently? You might find little monsters. Yes. This is spooky season, and I'm doing a spooky season review of the 35th anniversary of Little Monsters. If that doesn't make you feel old, check your childhood. If you grew up with Little Monsters, Little Monsters turns 35 this year. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I watched Little Monsters, and I watched it with audio description. I had some thoughts. First of all, yes, and I'm one of those. If you've watched me before, I always say like I love to air my bias at the top, and it just I don't I we all have it. Every critic has biases. We have things that we like and things that we don't like, actors we like and directors we don't, and all that kind of stuff. So the thing is, I'm a very nostalgic person. It's really easy to put something in front of me that I have a nostalgic attachment to, and I'm already going to like it slightly more probably than you would expect. So something like Little Monsters, which I watched as a kid a couple times, that features both Fred and Ben Savage, which I think is really cool, by the way. And Ben Savage looking, I remember him looking like really young, like pre Boy Meets World casting. So, and then Howie Mandel in like one of those like very few on screen performances. And I always think about like his OCD too. And like, I'm like, well, like he's a germaphobe. And, there's a line of dialogue here that he has to pick Fred Savage's nose. It a line of in audio description where he picks Fred Savage's nose, and I was like, did that actually happen? Because I don't remember that. And if I can't even imagine asking Howie Mandel to stick his finger up somebody's nose and what kind of like traumatic experience for him that would be. I've heard him talk about it, about his like germaphobic stuff before, and hand washing, and it's like a real thing for him, and how he has to deal with it. And I just think like something like that, it's weird. He kind of plays a little bit of a dirty scroungy monster in this, so it's not necessarily the most clean character he's ever played. um but the audio description here is delightful because it's written as if for the age group this movie's made for. So it's a nice, upbeat female voice, very welcoming, very like, "Hey, thanks for being here. Let's talk about the story." Like let's have fun. Let's have fun with this film. Um, and the film is it still works. I mean, I think Disney Channel has obviously had versions of this. We've all had like kids versions of What's Under the Bed. It's not that scary. It's a fun world under here, actually. Like I think they've done that before. I think it was Don't Look Under the Bed or something like that. There was also, I think there was an animated cartoon series, Bump in the Night, which is very similar to this. Uh, so it's a plot thing that we've explored before. Uh, so I don't know if this is really revolutionary, but it does sort of explore into how the little monsters came to be, and with the idea of once Fred Savage goes down there, he finds out that if he doesn't get out by morning, that he turns into a little monster. So maybe little monsters were a whole bunch of like little kids that got stuck down there. It's where the missing kids go. I don't know. It's not that deep of a film, though. I feel like if it was directed nowadays, it would be like an A24 film, and then we'd find out that all the monsters were all missing kids and long legs or something. I don't know, but uh, this, the possibilities are endless. Uh, Instead of Fred Savage, would be Timothy Chalamet trying to pretend that he's still like a child actor. Um, so this would be this movie's it's cute, it's fun, it's a fun for the whole family movie, and I wanted to throw in a couple of these for spooky season. They're not really spooky movies, like your kids will be fine. I watched this when I was a kid. I can attest to the fact I was not traumatized. I really enjoyed it. Howie Mandel is goofy. He looks goofy. He's not scary. I don't ever remember being scared by this movie. I remember actually wanting to watch it again, you know, whenever it was like rented for me or on TV and be like, oh man, I wish I had. Because I never like owned Little Monsters. So somehow I always watched it either on a TV airing or somebody rented it for me, something. But I've definitely seen this a couple times. The nostalgic value of it is high, is what I'm saying. So the grade here is a little bit harder for me to give because it's hard for me to separate the feelings that it gives me from watching Little Monsters from the is it a good film. Luckily, I've actually seen Little Monsters so uh, much that I think I saw it fairly recently in terms of like shortly before losing my vision. I would say like within that maybe like a 2 year span of losing my vision, I think I saw it. So like the visuals of the film are actually even really fresh in my mind, and it doesn't look great. It is very practical effects, but it also just kind of looks like it's very much on a like a soundstage, like a like a backlot. Like they had a very limited budget and they had to create a couple rooms that looked like, I don't want to say hell, but uh Monster World. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't have like a huge budget. Like it's possible. I wouldn't even be surprised if this was the set to another film and they just like repurposed it, you know, and they came in afterwards and they were like, "Can we borrow your set, Hellraiser?" And then like just like we're gonna take away some of the gore and just kind of use like the the elements. I don't know, but so I'm not a huge like Howie Mandel fan, but I think he's fine here. I think this was probably his sweet spot. I don't think he wanted his sweet spot to be kid stuff, but between this and Bobby's World, he's probably more recognized outside of hosting things for being in kid stuff. I can't, you know, not like an adult actor with a lot of serious roles. So, and I don't know if, again, him being a germaphobe is something that has prevented him from being able to take those kind of roles. But then again, I'm like, did he stick his actual finger into Fred Savage's nose? That's what I want to know is, was he, and what was that like for him? Like, if I ever got to interview Howie Mandel, that would be my first question. Be like, in Little Monsters, did you actually have to do this? And what was that like for you? Because I would imagine, like, when you're a germaphobe, that's probably like asking somebody, you know, to stick their hand uh, into a like broken glass, you know, like danger zone. Um, and also, what was that like for Fred Savage to have somebody else's finger in his nose? Anyway, I don't know. I'm really stuck on that one little piece of audio description because it really like it has like so many. I'm down the rabbit hole with that. I'm sorry. But his description reminded me a lot of what he looks like as a character. I thought that was really well done. The world not as much, but then again, the world is kind of not that great to look at anyway. Once you get down there, you're like, oh yeah, it looks cool. And I think like for kids, when you're like 5, 6, 7, you're not thinking about visual effects. You're not like, wow, these visual effects look shitty. You're thinking, wow, cool. You know, and then as an adult, you're like, oh, this is really low budget. So it does kind of has both. Um, Oftentimes I talk about like, is it a desert island movie? Would I take it to a desert island with me? And for whatever reason, I don't even own this on DVDs. So it's really hard for me to say that when I have like 1,000 DVDs and I was collecting that I never bought it. I don't even know if it's on DVD. Could be like a Dogma situation where it just never transferred. It just never made it. So who knows? But it's hard to proclaim it as a desert island movie. But I have seen it quite a bit. Am I going to give it an A? No. I don't think it's an A film. I don't even think it's a top tier nostalgic tour for me. But it is a tiered nostalgic tour for me. So it has a lot of nostalgic vibes. I really enjoyed it. I liked Fred Savage as a child actor. And this is the one like sort of rare Howie Mandel performance. It's a weird one, but it's there. And for families, for Halloween, you can't really, you know, I mean, you can't go wrong here. And it's celebrating his 35th anniversary. So it might be something that parents want to share with their kids and be like, I watched this as a kid. What do you think of it? You know, I don't know. Your kids probably be like, this looks terrible. I don't know. Share with blind kids, and then they won't notice I'm sure the special effects have not aged well. So, and the audio description is delightful. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on Little Monsters. If you get a chance to check it out wherever it's streaming, it floats around a lot. This is one of those films that's always perpetually on a streaming service, but people don't always know it's there because it's not really a hot title. Like, it's just kind of floating. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna give Little Monsters a B. So yes, again, what is the actual grade for Little Monsters? I don't know, and I think a lot of people don't know. I would say this is this has a 6 right now on IMDb, which means the majority of IMDb users are also giving it the same sort of pass, where they're like, "Yeah, we love this as a kid." You know, it has no Metacritic score, which I find to be incredibly weird. That no critic has actually reviewed this film. But yeah, so Little Monsters. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.